Good morning and welcome to another episode of Digestible Snacks. In this breaking news this morning, we're going to talk about pay rises and we're going to talk about aliens. Oh yes, every morning I bring you digestible snacks. If you watch to the end of the video, you can win $204 in cash, and we're doing that in a couple of days' time. So here we go. Let's get straight into the snacks. Financial snacks broken down in a fun, simple way that hopefully will be interesting and entertaining. All right, let's get straight into our digestible snacks this morning. So, of course, the markets are just opening now over the weekend. The Dow Jones closed up 1.43, the S&P up 2.5, NASDAQ up 3.25, and Bitcoin down 0.99. Hello, snackers. Good morning to all of you. Alien aficionados rejoice. The Pentagon launched an anomaly resolution office website for declassified UFO information, featuring videos of resolved cases and eventually tools to report sightings. It would have come in useful to the coast, to the cast of Mars Attacks. Told you we're talking about aliens, right? Which is interesting as we invest in Virgin Galactic, and there's a connection there. Click above my head and you'll find the video which connects you to aliens and why Virgin Galactic could go above $100 a share. Indeed, it's a real thing, folks. Check that out. Stocks rose last week with the S&P 500 notching up its best weekly gain since June. On Friday, the August jobs report showed a slowing but strong US labor market. Unemployment unexpectedly rose to 3.8, while wage growth cooled. This is all good because I expect to see a pause with the Fed coming up in 2 weeks' time, and we're going to cover it live. Click above my head and that will take you to the link and you can be on the FOMC report live with us. Overtime pay could expand for 3.6 million Americans as the White House tries to boost the middle class. Burning the midnight oil, but only get paid for 9 to 5 gas. Last week, the Biden administration announced a proposal to extend overtime pay, aka time and a half, to an additional 3.6 million salaried US workers. Overtime is available to nearly all hourly workers, but salaried workers in executive, administrative, or professional roles are exempt unless they earn below $35,600. The proposal would increase the threshold to $55,000. That's a good idea, isn't it? Under the proposed rule, the salary threshold would rise every 3 years to keep up with wage growth. The current threshold, set in 2019 under the Trump administration, was the first increase since 2004. At 55,000, overtime eligibility would fall below the U.S. median salary of 57,000. Some Democratic lawmakers wanted to extend the threshold to 83,000. Hot U.S. wage growth has started to cool, with economists say it's key to tamping broader inflation. The White House's proposal would boost wages by $1.2 billion, but it could face strong opposition. From right to rarity. In 1975, 60% of salaried workers qualified for overtime. Today, just 15% do. Part of the drop has to do with employers finding loopholes in federal labor law and misclassifying regular workers and managers, making them exempt from the overtime, even if they work well beyond 40 hours a week. One study found that managerial titles nearly 6x'd during the 2010s on job postings with salaries around the OT threshold. Some job titles from the study: Director of First Impressions, a front desk assistant, and an assistant bingo manager. I tell you what, I'm going to put a post on our Twitter account, on our X account. We're going to run a poll. Do you think this proposal is a good idea, giving the opportunity for more people to earn overtime? However, think about it though for a minute. If we increase overtime pay, of course, that means people are going to earn more money. Great, but it's going to cost more money for businesses. What do you think? Do you want to vote on our poll? Later on, I'll put a poll up there on X, and go and vote on it. Do you think it's a good idea that more people can earn overtime, or a bad idea? Leave me your thoughts on the X poll. The takeaway from all this: overtime could take time. The White House is trying to lock in labor support, but getting the proposal through could be tough. An Obama admin effort to increase the OT threshold was blocked, and lobbying groups representing industries like manufacturing and retail have warned they might challenge increases. President Biden's rule would, for example, make about 300,000 plus more workers in each of these two industries eligible for overtime. So what do you think about that? Events coming up this week: fighting range anxiety and ChargePoint, one of the oldest and largest EV charging networks. Can you believe it? The oldest charging networks. It's been going forever. And if anything in America is more than 2 years old, it's regarded as old, and you got to throw it out. In the UK, nothing under 100 years is even classed as out of the box. Anyway, one of the oldest and largest EV charging networks is juicing up to report tomorrow after posting 60% quarterly revenue growth in June. It has 20,000 plus locations. Think Best Western lots. There you go. But it's got competition from Tesla, whose superchargers make up 6 in 10 fast chargers in the US and Canada. ChargePoint recently said it'll offer Tesla plugged in addition to the government-backed combined charging system. Ford and GM said their new EVs will use Tesla's standard at ChargePoint. Doesn't want to lose customers. I know, isn't this a good thing for Tesla? They'll be able to license that plug, right? Earn some money from it. Oscar de la Rental, Rent the Runway, reported rising revenue and slimmer losses in June as subscribers spent as much as $193 a month to rent fits by Coach and J. Crew for work events and weddings. But competition's nipping at its high heels. Urban Outfitters expects its rival subscription service, Nuuly, will turn a profit this year and eventually become a $1 billion business. Though RTR is a decade older, newcomer Nuuly already has 150,000 subs, more than RTR, and when it last reported, we'll see if RTR gained momentum when it reports on Friday. Let's zoom out. Stories we are watching at the moment: $20 card minimum or cash discount. Visa and MasterCard are turning up the fee heat on merchants starting in October. The payment process will hike the fee that businesses pay every time shoppers swipe their credit cards. US merchants paid a record $160 billion in interchange fees last year, up more than 5 times from a decade ago. The new hikes could result in another $500 million plus paid out annually and translate into higher prices for shoppers. Businesses often pay on the cost. A bill in Congress seeks to curb swipe fees, but TBD if it'll pass, to be determined if it'll pass. Crypto's big W. Last week, a court ruled that the SEC was wrong to deny Grayscale's Bitcoin ETF application. We talked about it last week. If you want to see a full breakdown of our Bitcoin ETF news and how it will affect Bitcoin, click above my head and it'll take you to that full video and you'll learn all about it. Very, very important, that one. Grayscale equals the world's biggest crypto fund. A Bitcoin ETF would let investors get exposure to Bitcoin without actually owning it, which could spur more mainstream investment. This is where the institutions will get involved. Bitcoin surged on the news, but fell later in the week after the SEC delayed its decision on other Bitcoin ETF applications, including those from Fidelity and BlackRock. So Fidelity and BlackRock is very interesting because it puts credibility to the whole Bitcoin argument. Some experts suggest it's just a matter of time before Bitcoin ETFs hit the market. We think so on this channel. Absolutely. Last week's highlights. Budding. The US Health Department recommended moving marijuana to a lower federal risk category. Currently, the US government consider it a Schedule 1 drug, the same category as heroin and ecstasy. If you want to see our full breakdown of that video, we talked about Tilray and how it'll affect and how that ruling will affect the stock price. Click above my head and that'll take you to that full video. Deficit. A nationwide Adderall shortage could worsen as students become returned back to school refills. The FDA and DEA urge manufacturers to boost their ADHD med production, but it won't be easy. Swiped. LA proposed a ban on cashless businesses, arguing they exclude people with low incomes, older adults, and unbanked communities. Cashless bans have already paused in San Francisco, New York City, Philly, and DC. If you look above my head, you can go to my Twitter account, my X account, and you actually see we're running a poll whether you think we should get rid of cash and just be on card. But you've heard in this announcement, in this broadcast, the advantages and disadvantages of what likely is around the corner. So perhaps use that information when you vote. Do you think cash should be around, or should we get rid of it? What do you think? Finally, what else are we snacking today? In closure to our little segment here this morning, Shred. State attorneys general are asking the SEC to make Shine show it doesn't use forced labor before its IPO. The fast fashion giant has been accused of labor abuses and poor factory conditions. Screen. While US box office sales still lag behind pre-pandemic levels, IMAX is thriving. Sales for mega screen theater have more than 3x since 2020 as moviegoers line up for blockbusters like Oppenheimer. No surprise there, really. Strict labor laws have kept key roles in the fashion industry from unionizing. Now Hollywood's biggest stylists are joining to try to create their first union, boosting the bustling US labor market. All right, now we move on to my favorite part of the show, and that is, of course, Snack Fact of the Day. Taylor Swift's Eras concert movie broke AMC's record for first day ticket sales. Have you seen any of Taylor Swift's concerts online? It's absolutely incredibly, it's massive. But you will notice that 95% of the audience are ladies. It does seem to be a ladies' thing. I don't see that many guys going to a Taylor Swift concert. Anyway, predominantly ladies. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you'll reply below the video and let me know I'm wrong. Anyway, there is another of our digestible snacks. Thank you very much for joining us for that. Every morning, I bring you these breaking news, and later on, I will post it as a main video and add lots of extra content and B-roll and stuff like that, including the links for you to go and check out the votes, the polls, and further information, all the videos and so on. Until next time, join us tomorrow for another digestible snacks of financial and business news. Click above my head for all the links, and over here you'll find more in the series and also our $204 cash giveaway. We're giving away our biggest ever cash prize this week. Till next time, take care of yourselves and each other.